Is Jim Carrey the greatest comedic actor of our generation? There's definitely an argument to be made, and we're going to talk about it. This is The Chaser, a special bonus episode of The Binge where we take a look at the filmography of a creative personality and we collectively rank their top 10 movies. The last time we did this was with Stephen King. This time, it's Jim Carrey, who's just celebrated a birthday. The man is now 64 years old, which feels shocking and jarring to my youthful soul, and I don't like it. I'm your host, Joshua Ryan. With me, not as always, but often, Dave, filling in for Tim, who is out sick. Dave, what's going on?
It's not much is going on. I'm excited to talk about Jim Carrey because I grew up, I wanted to be Jim Carrey. So there you go.
Well, maybe you succeeded. I don't know. You are the man behind the scenes. Very often you do our editing, our producing, but very often you are on the screen. So often so that you and Loretto, our other guest, I think are tied for the most appearances on The Binge with us to talk Jim Carrey. Loretto, what's up?
Good evening, y'all. I'm very excited to be here. This is my first chaser, however. Mostly I'm here for sequels and whatnots, but I'm here for a chaser. And I know this isn't part of the shindig, but in honor of Seabass, I got myself an old-fashioned Boilermaker. It's on his tab, by the way.
Good. There it is, on his tab. What movie's that from?
If that guy over there's Seabass.
That's Dumb and Dumber.
I know. All right. So, Jim Carrey, James Carrey, was born January 17th, 1962 in Ontario, Canada. He started doing stand-up at like 15 years old. Moves to LA at age 19, and he's a regular doing comedy at the Comedy Store. Now, tons of big comedians, they got their starts there. You had Tim Allen, Whoopi Goldberg, Roseanne, Chevy Chase, Cheech and Chong, a whole lot of them. But while he's there doing some comedy, he catches the eye of Rodney Dangerfield, of all people, who sees the spark in Jim Carrey and invites him to come open for him. So he ends up opening for opening for Rodney Dangerfield. Now, Jim Carrey auditioned for SNL twice, in 1980 and in 1986. I watched one of those audition tapes. He was good. He obviously didn't get it, but I mean, it was classic young Jim Carrey, all the facial movements, all the impressions and all that. I'm not really sure why he didn't get it. He says it's because he was not yet confident in his comedic abilities. He doesn't think he did the best he can do. But that didn't stop him, because then he goes on in 1990 as a original starting cast member for In Living Color, which was, kind of an answer to SNL, which was predominantly white, whereas In Living Color was predominantly people of color. In fact, Jim Carrey was the only white man on the cast. They had a couple of white female comedians. SNL, or In Living Color, was started by Keenan Ivory Wayans. It starred the Wayans brothers. You had J-Lo as one of the Fly Girl dancers before she was famous. Did you guys watch In Living Color growing up?
I saw skits. I primarily saw the skits that starred Jim Carrey, like the "Let Me Show You Something," that guy. But not a ton of
Fire
it,
Marshal
I
Bill.
would say.
Yeah, Fire Marshal
yes.
Bill. Loretto, you're younger than us. Was this something that you still watched, though? Are you familiar with
Dude,
In Living Color?
I loved In Living Color. I used to watch it with my family. My dad, my mom, they were separated, but both households, they're a huge staple. And honestly, I'm not saying it was the Jim Carrey show, because Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx, David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, I mean, they're all really funny, but
Right.
Jim Carrey literally kind of steals the show a lot of the time. And like I said, between Fire Marshal Bill and some of his other characters, he's just so funny and so natural.
He did
with
like
his
Vanilla
charisma,
Ice. He was did parody of Vanilla Ice. Just great stuff. I didn't watch like SNL as a kid. I watched In Living Color, and I remember me and my brothers, we had one of those old giant, VHS camcorders you had up on your shoulder, and we would always make skits, and we did our own show that we called In Living Boys, which doesn't even make sense, as kind of a sketch comedy show trying to be like In Living Color. So right off the bat, 1990, big break for him. That was his main big break. Now, making his way into movies, He had even before he got on In Living Color, he had a lot of TV movies, a lot of straight to video movies, a lot of them in Canada. I watched some of them in preparation for this. They're not going to be eligible. We're only going to be ranking major feature films that either went to theaters or now in this day and age with a streaming movie, something like that. But one of them, what was Copper Mountain? I was talking to Dave about this movie, Copper Mountain, and it's only an hour long. It was like a Canadian TV special where he just goes to the mountains with his dad to try and pick up girls, and he's just doing all the weird impressions. He's only like 19, 20 years old, but it's primarily like a concert movie. Like the half of the movie is just a concert playing, and it's like a music thing. It was weird, but it was kind of a product of its time. I liked seeing young Jim Carrey. So his first legit movie was Once Bitten in 1985, the vampire movie. Have you guys seen this one?
Yep.
You know what? I was mistaking it with Vampire's Kiss. These are two different films, right? I think Vampire's Kiss is with Nick Cage, right?
Yeah.
I was confusing the two, so I actually haven't seen this one, actually.
That's okay. It's not going to go on the list, but it is for being, a 1985 vampire comedy. It's pretty funny, and Jim Carrey's good in it. Basically, there's a eternal vampire who's this sexy, lusty woman who is looking for a virgin. And Jim Carrey is playing a high school kid who's trying to have sex all the time with his girlfriend. She won't let him. She won't give it up. And he gets all mad about it. And this makes him the virgin that the lusty vampire then goes after. It's fun. It's a good time.
American Pie with a vampire.
Right, yeah, very similar. And nobody bangs a pie in this one. So then he has a small part in Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986. This is directed by Francis Ford Coppola, stars Kathleen Turner, Nicolas Cage. He has a small supporting role as one of the high school buddies, a friend. So not a significant Jim Carrey movie, just another step in his career. Similarly, after that, 1988, we have The Deadpool, which is the fifth Dirty Harry movie. Also not a big part. He plays... a villain, but not like the main villain. He dies off fairly early. I think he was a villain. I haven't seen it in a while. I love the Dirty Harry movies, and I remember when I first was watching through the whole franchise, when I got to that one, I was like, Jim Carrey? What is he doing here? He's in the beginning, and he gets killed off fairly early. Still funny, interesting to talk about.
That is pretty funny.
The first real kind of big-ish movie that he has a leading part is Earth Girls Are Easy in 1988. We're still pre-In Living Color here. So Earth Girls Are Easy, great cast, has Jim Carrey and Jeff Goldblum and Damon Wayans as aliens. Furry, almost Teletubby-looking aliens from another planet that come to Earth to reproduce with women, hence the title Earth Girls Are Easy. Gina Davis, fantastic here, plays the main love interest to Jeff Goldblum, who's kind of the real lead. Jim Carrey's character's name is Whiplock. Now, here's where it really gets going. 1994, everything changes. This is where we're actually going to spend a little bit of time. Now we're post In Living Color, and in 1994, Jim Carrey all of a sudden becomes one of the biggest stars of all time because he has three of the most successful comedies of the 90s all come out in the same year. He had Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber all drop in 1994. So the first of them, Ace Ventura. What's your guys' relationship to Ace Ventura?
Oh, God. I mean, when it comes down to Jim Carrey, iconic, quotable, memorable, I think that it's, for a lot of people, it's their favorite Jim Carrey movie. It's not my favorite. I think that it has some problems in terms of transphobic messaging, but it was
the 90s. Everything was different. It was a wild, wild west back then.
Yes, and so I kind of forgive it, and especially because of how iconic and how memorable it is. It's hard not to put it on the list for me.
Finkel is Einkorn. Einkorn is Finkel.
I personally actually enjoy Ace Ventura 2, but more so than the first one, but it's not as iconic as the first.
Loretto, what are your thoughts on Ace?
So again, I actually prefaced this when I talked to you guys in the chat. I had several Jim Carrey VHS tapes.
Right.
That's the era that I was born into, and one of them was Ace Ventura, the original. And for the life of me replaying this film at 6, 7 years old, a lot of the jokes obviously went over my head, but I'm still shocked that my dad wasn't like, I don't know if you should be watching that.
They used to let us watch a lot of stuff.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I saw Desperado when I was 7, and the only thing my dad did was cover my eyes when Salma Hayek got naked, but...
Hey, the first time I ever saw any boobies, ever, Desperado, as a child. I didn't know what I was missing up until that point.
I tip my hat to you, sir. But
Salma Hayek's of all.
So there's 2 generations of me that have feelings about this movie. Like, I thought it was funny when I was little, of course, because just Jim Carrey is just a cartoon character on film. But as I got older, I appreciated this film for other reasons. Like, obviously, the controversial stuff is, it's a little wonky, it's a little weird, but a lot of his detective work with, like, finding, like, the AFC championship ring and, like, discovering all the little clues, like, in the tank, like, the jewel, and, like, I like those aspects, and obviously the infamous soundproof door, the it's ridiculous, it's kind of silly, but it's pretty awesome. Like, he kind of cracked an important moment of the case there. Like, there's no way this lady heard the scream from outside the house. It's a soundproof door. So there's a lot of elements here that I love, but I actually like the second one better. I thought the second one upped the ante in terms of laughs and set pieces and stuff like that. So
I will say, for years, people were talking out of their butts because of this movie. That was the gag. And what's funny is I used to do this to my daughter, just like to annoy her. Would just be like, talk out of my butt and be like, what do you want for dinner? And she'd be like, stop it. Get out of here. Now, my relationship with Ace Ventura went kind of up and down because, similar to you guys, when you're a kid and you're watching this was the funniest thing I had ever seen. And then I kind of revisited it when I was a young adult, and I was just like, this is really not that good. And I was just kind of like not that into it. And me and Timbo, we actually had a podcast a while back called The Movie Divide, where we tackled movies that were divisive. And then we would end by deciding, okay, is the movie good or not? We would each vote and say, do we unanimously rule it's good, it's bad, or it's still divisive if one of us liked it and the other didn't? And so that was when I rewatched Ace Ventura again, because we covered it on there, and I was like, you know what, I came back on it. I was like, no, this actually is funny, and it is clever, as stupid as it is. So the way we're going to be doing this as we go for the listeners is we're going to get to the top 10 at the end. We're going to debate it out, and we're going to choose it collectively as a group. As we go, we'll choose movies that we say, this one's got to be in, or this one I think is a maybe. I think Ace Ventura right off the bat is a maybe.
I agree.
Yeah. Right, as it stands, it's in my number 10, and I still don't know if I want it in there, because I have When Nature Calls a couple spots ahead of it. It's a maybe for me. It's a maybe.
All right, so Dave's going to be keeping track of this for us. Next up, same year, The Mask. Now, this movie is loosely adapted from a Dark Horse comic directed by Charles Russell, who did Nightmare on Elm Street 3, he did Eraser, and The Scorpion King, which we will be covering on the binge when we do The Mummy. This is the first movie that Cameron Diaz was ever in, and she comes in a major way. Like, I was like, who is that? I saw this movie in theaters as a kid. This was the only one out of these 3. Yeah, this was the only one out of these 3 that I saw in cinemas.
She's a babe.
I came out of the theaters and was just like, that was the greatest movie going experience of my life. Granted, I was like 7, but I was like, what? That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And this one, I owned most of these on VHS as well, but this one especially, I remember being in the store with my mom and passing it and being like, Mom, you have to buy The Mask. And she's like, no, you always make me buy movies and you watch them once, you never watch them again. And I was like, no, I will watch this movie over and over again. And I did. I love it.
Yeah, in terms of The Mask, I didn't even know it was like an adaptation of a graphic novel until much later in life. But I had seen the movie a billion times. It was one of my favorites growing up. I still like it a lot today, and I have a lot of appreciation for it, especially the cartoon nature of the Mask himself. He's like the perfect cast for a character like that.
Absolutely. Now, I bought Arrow Video just released a badass 4K restoration of this in like a box set with a lot of special features and all this. So I bought that and I just rewatched it again. This movie holds up better, I think, than any of his early comedies. Like, I was laughing my ass off. Like, at one point, I was teary-eyed, just crying, laughing. And I've seen this movie 100 times. But it is so good. It's so well written. Jim Carrey is perfect in it. Because, in Ace Ventura, he plays an idiot. In Dumb and Dumber, he plays an idiot. In The Mask, he's kind of a regular dude who has this really quirky, fun side that comes out when he puts on the mask. And I just think it's fantastic. And you have Peter Green as Dorian Tyrell, the villain. He is fantastic as a villain. And, at the end, you get him putting on the mask and just being this really evil, big. And you see how the mask adapts to your personality. It brings out your inner personality.
Yeah.
Now, the comic of this, I read this entire comic line, completely different. Stanley Ipkiss.
It's very dark, right?
Yeah. Stanley Ipkiss is only in it for a small bit because throughout it's 3 major comics. It's like 3 kind of big comics. And the mask goes to so many different people. So Stanley Ipkiss is only in the beginning, but Stanley Ipkiss is basically a madman. He is not this nice, quirky guy. He is like a killer when he gets the mask. He's already kind of an evil ass. And then when he gets the mask, he's just like, the mask goes around killing so many people in the book. So different. Loretto, what are your thoughts on the mask?
Ding, ding, ding. Once again, I also have this VHS, sir. And by the way, Stanley Ipkiss has fantastic pajamas. Lieutenant in the film, Lieutenant Calloway, who's one of my favorite characters, always gave him shit like, oh, it's Ipkiss's fucking awful pajamas. Like, like, I loved his pajamas. But,
they were just like,
for the time.
Sea-themed.
For the time, and I'm going to say this right now, like, I still think a lot of the CG holds up pretty well, especially when the eyeballs pop out of his socket, or when he turns into the freaking wolf and he's like, oh, like some of that stuff looks really good still, and it's just like groundbreaking CG on top of the fact that he could do a lot of that stuff with his face already. So it was a perfect vehicle for what Carrey is so good at. But what's interesting too is, to your point, Josh, what people forget about The Mask is, minus all the antics, Stanley Ipkiss is a regular dude, and he actually had some moments of like drama and like moments where Stanley Ipkiss was just a normal dude and he was just acting. I think he got to show a lot more of his acting side in that film that gets overlooked because of all the comic antics, and I think that's an underrated aspect of the film for sure.
For sure. I rewatched a lot of Jim Carrey movies in preparation for this because we'd been planning on doing this for a while. And I filled out my gaps. I saw all the movies I hadn't seen. There were like a handful of maybe 4 or 5 movies I hadn't seen. I watched them all, but of all the rewatches I did, this is by and far my favorite. I pulled it up on Letterboxd to log it after I watched it, and I had it logged at a 4 out of 5. I bumped it up to a 4.5. This movie is great. I love it.
2 more things.
Yeah, go for it.
Really quick. And it's just one of those things where, when you watch a movie so much, some of like the little details just get ingrained in your life. I don't know how many times, you guys, like when I've eaten something really good or had an interesting experience, for no reason at all, I would be like, that's a spicy meatball.
Oh, yeah.
And I only do that because of the freaking mask when he swallows the bomb, right? And then also, I had no idea about Sally Field's speech, but because of him,
exactly,
that is like ingrained in my memory as one of like my favorite moments of all time. The you like me, you really like. Oh my god, I didn't know.
I attributed that to the mask until years later when I saw the actual acceptance speech, and I was like, oh, he's spoofing. Of course, he's spoofing. Like, he's not just doing it randomly.
And that's awesome.
When a joke is great when you get the reference, but it's still great when you don't. Like, that was still hilarious regardless. And then you get it and it adds a little more context. But speaking of, the quotes, these first 3 movies, I say first, his first 3 big movies, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura, were so endlessly quotable. There are so many things from these movies, smoking, like you said, that's a spicy meatball. Smoking was the huge thing. After everybody was like, smoking.
Hey, be honest. How many times have you parked perfectly and said, like a glove?
Oh, yeah. All right. So I think The Mask is in. I think Mask should be a top 10. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Absolutely.
Right. Put it on the list. The first official.
Put it on the list.
10.
The Mask.
Now we go straight from The Mask into Dumb and Dumber. Same year. Again, massive run. This is the first feature film from the Farrelly brothers, who go on to do Kingpin, Shallow Hal, Hall Pass. Lots of, dumb, raunchy comedies. Some good.
There's Something About Mary?
There's Something About Mary. They do a lot. They have a whole lot. Some of them good, some of them great, some of them bad. They have more Jim Carrey movies we'll be getting to. I think this has the greatest Jim Carrey character name of all time, Lloyd Christmas. You just don't top that. That's number one name. He took his tooth cap off for this because Jim Carrey had chipped his tooth as a child. And I remember even as a kid watching this and being like, it's not painted on because you can see behind it. Like you can see past the tooth. And it turns out, he wears a tooth cap that he took off just for Dumb and Dumber. Totally adds another layer to the character. He stars opposite Jeff Daniels, who the studio didn't want because they didn't think he could do comedy. They didn't want him. In fact, they were so anti Jeff Daniels that when they did bring him in, Jim Carrey got paid $7 million for this. He was the highest paid comedic actor of the decade, and Jeff Daniels got $50,000 for an equal starring role. I would argue, I don't know if this is hot or controversial, Jeff Daniels might be funnier than Jim Carrey in this movie. They're kind of neck and neck.
They're neck and neck for sure.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but
Jeff Daniels
I don't know.
is so
I don't know
good.
about that. I don't know about that. No, he's
Jeff
great.
Daniels
He's
is
great.
so good as Harry. Perfect.
I want to say that Dumb and Dumber was probably the first thing that I saw Jim Carrey in. So I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and for me, it would be on the in list, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I think Dumb and Dumber is going in. Loretto, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's in my top 5, and I think even like on the terms of like we were just talking about like Lehu, Hazer, alrighty there, or like somebody stop me, like all those quotes. Dumb and Dumber is filled with them, like like.
So you're telling me
I was way off. California, beautiful. Like just, put another shrimp on the barbie. Like so many quotable moments.
Again, whole movie.
The joke I did as a kid.
Yeah.
That he was mixing
extra
up
pair of gloves.
Australia and Austria.
You've had this extra pair of gloves this whole time.
Another joke I remember not getting as a kid. When they were trying to figure out Mary Swanson's last name, and he's like, Swami, Swanson? And then Harry's like, check the briefcase. And they look, and he's like, oh, Samsonite. I was way off. I didn't get the joke because Samsonite was a brand of
There was the joke at, was it the hotel bar where he sees the moon landing newspaper?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no way. That's great. We landed on the moon. And I remember when I watched him as a kid, I was like, okay, what's the joke? But much later in life, I finally, it got to me. So
he was a little behind.
Dude, that moment as a kid, I was rolling over. I was like, like, because I knew I was like, this guy's an idiot. Like, and also when that couple walks by and then Jeff Daniels is like, geez, look at the butt on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he must work out. And it's so obliviously like harmless, but like he's just dumb.
We could quote Dumb and Dumber forever, and I'm not opposed to it. When Jeff Daniels gets the shits because Jim Carrey gives him a ton of X-Lax because he's jealous. Oh, another that scene's hilarious. The whole montage of Jeff Daniels on a date with, I forget the actress's name, was Jim Carrey's wife
Lauren
at the
Holly.
time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Lauren
Jim
Holly,
Carrey's wife. And he builds the snowman and he puts the carrot and the pieces of coal as a dick and balls instead of the eyes and nose. But you know what part I laughed the most about this montage was when they have the playful snow fight. a snowball fight, and she's like all kind of being flirty and doing it, and he gets really mad, and he just starts like attacking her and shoving her face in the snow, and he's like, come on, you want to fight? That part cracked me up so much as a kid. So Dumb and Dumber is in. Next up, a movie that is not going in, Batman Forever, 1995.
Objection!
Now, this is
Objection!
Batman 3, he comes in, he plays the Riddler. This whole movie, this is when Joel Schumacher takes over for Tim Burton. Basically, Tim Burton's Batman Returns pissed a lot of people off because it was really dark and really weird, and they had partnered with McDonald's and made all these kids toys and everything. So all these parents took their kids to see it, and they were just like, this is Satan, this is the devil. So the studio pulls back and they're like, Tim Burton, you cannot do the third one, because he had a whole third one lined up. And because he pulls out, or because they won't let him come in, Michael Keaton is like, I'm not doing the third without Tim Burton, so I'm out too. So it leads to this whole change where they bring in Joel Schumacher and they recast Batman to be what's his name, Val Kilmer, and they even recast Two-Face and bring in Tommy Lee Jones. We get Jim Carrey as the Riddler, going full out. Like, Jim Carrey gives it his all, but it's a little too ridiculous, even for the Riddler, even for this Joel Schumacher, schmaltzy, weird world we're in. I think Jim Carrey's performance is a little over the top. There's a famous quote that I think is really funny that Tommy Lee Jones had apparently didn't like Jim Carrey on the set. And Jim Carrey said that Tommy Lee Jones told him, I cannot sanction your buffoonery, which I just think is a great Tommy Lee Jones quote. Because you always see Tommy Lee Jones as being so straight-laced and so serious, and I could just see him not digging what Jim Carrey is doing, even though Tommy Lee Jones goes full camp in this movie. Everybody does.
I was going to say, as much as he said that, it's almost like he didn't want to be upstaged by Carrey.
Oh, yeah.
So
he's fighting.
So Tommy Lee Jones starts getting all freaking wacky, and it's like, Jesus.
It's a weird role for Tommy Lee Jones.
It's like, this is not the Academy Award-winning fugitive Tommy Lee Jones that we saw.
Because you know what? I actually imagine Tommy Lee Jones as like if Tim Burton was doing this, and it was like a serious kind of dark, scary Harvey Dent. This Harvey Dent isn't scary. He's a mess. Growing up, this was my favorite Batman movie. I was wrong. I was an idiot. That is not the best of the Batman series.
You like my jacket? It keeps me warm when I'm jogging at night.
Is that a quote?
Yeah, it's a Riddler.
Okay.
That was a deep cut. I was going to say Joygasm, but that's a good one.
But you know what this movie gave us? Kiss from a Rose. Seal.
Oh, yeah.
Hot damn. Did it give us Kiss from a Rose? So, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, they're out. We're not putting Batman Forever in. Sorry. But up next, the movie you guys keep claiming is better than the original, Ace Ventura 2, 1995. The first sequel, one of the very few sequels Jim Carrey does to his movies. He doesn't do a lot of sequels. But we get Ace Ventura 2 and Nature Calls. This one I saw in theaters. I didn't see the original Ace Ventura in theaters. I saw this one in theaters only a year later. The movie was so hot and such a success, which I forgot to mention, the original Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey was a writer on that script. And you can really see that. It's a lot of his humor coming through. This movie, probably the hardest I have ever laughed in my life at a movie is when Jim Carrey's coming out of that rhino's ass. That was it for me. That was peak. That was my life's peak. I needed a bathroom break because things were about to spew out of me in all directions. I was laughing so hard as like a 9-year-old kid in the cinemas watching this.
And then the mommy, the kid, she's like scared.
The family that stops to like watch and they're like, what's happening? It's so ridiculous. That is the funniest point of this movie, but I agree that I do think Ace Ventura When Nature Calls is funnier. It opens with the whole cliffhanger spoof where he's trying to save a raccoon, which I hadn't seen in cliffhanger at the time. So another spoof I didn't get. I get later on. But still, even not knowing that it's a spoof cliffhanger, the whole scene of him having this raccoon moment and dropping the raccoon, hilarious, great, just a great movie.
This is a movie that
you guys like it better, but tell me some thoughts.
I like it better. I think it's one of those movies that has to sit with you for a while because I think it bomb when it was in theater originally because Jim said he didn't want to do any more sequels for a long time.
I don't think it bombed.
Well, I thought that was the reason why
didn't do well.
Well, yeah, but he didn't want to do any sequels for a long time because of something, and I think it was Ace Ventura 2.
I mean, maybe I would have to look it up, but I don't feel like it.
I do love it though.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I do love it though. I do think that it's funnier. I think it has a better story all around. It's something that I had to sit with overall. I would either like Ace Ventura 1 or 2 in the end. I just like the character, I guess.
Now, no, I agree with you. It's one of his most iconic characters, and I think I'm leaning towards putting them both in the maybe pile, and then we can fight that out later on. Because I don't think, as much as I do prefer this to the original, I didn't rewatch this one. I haven't seen this one in a long time. But Steve Odenkirk, he comes in, he writes and directs. Steve Odenkirk, to me, is very funny. He wrote and directed and starred in Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. Do you guys remember this movie? Ridiculous
Chosen
movie.
One! I'm coming!
Yes. Talk about a quotable movie. One of the
That's
dumbest,
a lot of nuts!
one of the dumbest, most critically panned movies that I loved and owned on DVD, where he just took old kung fu movies and then CGI'd himself into them and dubbed over all the actual lines to turn it into something ridiculous and really stupid. So he also then directs Barnyard, the animated movie, which he writes that, which goes on to become, a Nickelodeon cartoon for a long time. I do like that this changes location. It puts, Jim Carrey in Africa. There's a lot of funny jokes to come from that. What is it? Bumblebee tuna. Your balls are showing. When he's trying to fit in with the tribe. And it introduces us that he has an animal fear for the man who loves animals, hates bats. He can't deal with bats, and this whole story revolves around a white bat. I like this movie a lot. I think this movie goes into the maybe pile. Stick it in the maybe, and I'll stew on it. What are you guys' thoughts?
All right.
Group decision.
Yo, I'm gonna be sorry. This is it's almost outside of my top 5, but I think it's in. Okay. For me, and this is just even from kid to adult, it's just still clicks with me. Like the Slinky, how far can we go? Come on! Or the fact when he says shishika, I can't remember the name of the bat, but yeah, they have to bow, and he was doing the shish kebab. Chicago. Oh, yeah. And they would bow but not bow, and then the spears when he got speared, one leg and the other leg, and he's like, yeah. Dude, I just and then you include the rhino scene. I laughed so much in this film, and to this day, a lot of these bits still hit with me. So I don't know. For me, it's in. It's in my top 10. So,
but if we stick it in the maybe pile, that don't mean it's out. It means we can talk about it at the end. We can decide
for sure.
I'm okay either way. So I put it in the maybe for now.
Let's go maybe. We'll come back to it. Don't worry.
Oh wait, last one. The one where he was, because he's he got saved by monks or whatever, and he was meditating, and he was scared in the cave, and he was I am one with the universe or whatever, and then he hears the squeal, he's like, die, demon bird! Sorry, but it's just the contrast. He was
What's
meditating, and then
Loretto, is that I haven't seen this movie in a while, and you quoting it is bringing back so many memories of it, because it has been a while since I've watched this one. I've seen the first one much more, even though I prefer the second one. But no, I think there's a strong argument to be made for it. We'll just stick it in maybe for now, and we will come back. Next up, 1996, The Cable Guy. Like we were talking about off camera, directed by Ben Stiller. This movie was a huge bomb, had a terrible reputation, and was widely considered to be derailing Jim Carrey's career, which to me is baffling, because as a kid, Jim Carrey movies, this was my favorite. The one that I rewatched the most was The Cable Guy. I thought his kind of dark, deranged, I want to be loved, but I'm a little psycho about it character of Chip with the lisp. And you learn that his name's not even Chip. He's taking it from My Three Sons. He's so obsessed with TV. He's doing all this. I freaking loved everything about this movie, and I still think this movie super holds up. The karaoke scene, don't you want somebody to love? Like, everything about this movie I think is hilarious. And you know what? We talk about quotes. You know what's not a quote, but it's something from this that I still did a lot to people. The scene where, and you guys might not even know what scene I'm talking about, because to me it was big, but probably nobody else it was. He's in the van with, what's his face? Who's the other actor?
Matthew Broderick?
Matthew Broderick. He's in the van with Matthew Broderick. And Matthew Broderick says something like, oh, hey, thanks, Chip. I had a great time. And he just does this weird look at him that slowly turns into a really awkward smile. And it's so weird and slow and cringy. That, to me, cracked me up. And I would rewind my VHS to watch him do that over and over again because it was so funny. And I would try to do that to people. And everybody probably thought I was a little fucking weirdo because I was giving them this weird, slow smile grin. But to me, it was just hilarious. So I don't know that the Cable Guy is in, but I think the Cable Guy is way beyond its reputation. The Cable Guy is a solid, maybe ahead of its time. Maybe it was a little too dark comedy. I don't know.
It's ahead of its time for sure. It's another one of those movies that took me a long time before I was like, you know what? I really enjoy this movie. And when I compiled my own top 10 list, it is on there. So I would say that there's an argument to be made that it should be in. Yeah.
Loretto?
I think it should be in, personally. And I think after the run of what we just spoke of, the two Ace Venturas, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, I don't think audiences were ready to see a darker side of Jim Carrey. I don't think they were ready for it, and they were probably taken aback. But there's so many funny moments in this black comedy, and it's satirical, and it's very... it speaks upon society. It also speaks upon, like, the effects television have on people, and I just thought it was so beautiful how in the final act of the film, when, like, he's about to sacrifice himself, and, like, Matthew Broderick's like, you don't have to do this, and he's like, somebody has to kill the babysitter. And then he lets himself go, and he, like, breaks the TV dish, and I thought that was a really beautiful moment for such a weird, quirky black comedy. It's like, oh shit, like, TV was warping a lot of people's brains, including his, and it's like, the TV breaks, now what do you do? And it's like, oh, let's read a book, or let's do something else, and I thought that was kind of cool. So,
and I like that the running kind of backstory related directly to the TV was Ben Stiller playing twins who had... What, one twin killed the other twin? It was like brother, sweet brother. They were making the made-for-TV movie about it or whatever.
Right.
Like, yeah, I thought that part was great. I think Ben Stiller is hilarious. And I think this movie's great. You guys think we should go instantly in. I feel like that's a controversial choice. If you guys both outvote me, because I would vote maybe. I'd vote we talk it later.
It's high on my list. I think it's, I don't know. For me, it's in. For me.
It's on my list as well, so I would say in.
All right. Put it in. Dave.
Put it in there. Let's go, baby.
It's in.
But here's the thing.
All right.
I really want to fight you and put it in the maybe, but I won't. It's okay. The thing is with maybe, we could talk about them later. They could still go in, but it's okay. Because I think coming up, I've got like I think the 3 next movies are in movies. That's why I'm like hesitant to.
Well, let's talk about it.
This is really interesting.
I might agree. So let's go.
1997, Liar Liar.
Yes.
They bring back Tom Shadyac as the director. That was the director of Ace Ventura. Originally, Hugh Grant was cast in the lead. Hugh Grant was supposed to play the man who cannot tell a lead.
Ugh, gross.
Now, the face. Stop. The face you guys are making, the face everybody makes, because when I tell them this tidbit, because I think this is such an interesting bit of information, that Hugh Grant was originally cast, and the only reason he dropped out was because he had that sex scandal where he picked up the transvestite prostitute and got arrested, and it was a huge thing, and his reputation was all tarnished, and he was like, I need to be out of the limelight for a while. He bounced back. Hugh Grant's doing great now, but his little sex prostitute scandal kind of wrecked him for a bit. So he was like, I can't do it. I'm pulling out. Now, Jim Carrey was already signed on to do the Truman Show next movie, one I've already spoiled, is going in, I think. And it kept getting delayed. So a little bit out of bitterness is what I read. He was like, I'm going to take this other movie. They offered Liar Liar. Now, 100% Hugh Grant's Liar Liar and Jim Carrey's Liar Liar would be completely different movies. I do not think Hugh Grant's movie would be bad. Jim Carrey brought his own flair and, you know, his physical comedy. Hugh Grant's wouldn't have been that. It would have been more of your more tame kind of bumbling, you know, I'm a bumbling nice guy kind of thing. I still think it would work, and I wish so badly I could see them both side by side. They'd be completely different movies, but I think both would be solid. But what we end up getting here with the Jim Carrey, I think this is one of his top movies. Great movie. Okay, Dave, you're just dancing. You got to talk. What's up?
Oh, yes. Liar, Liar. This is very, very high on my list of top 10 Jim Carrey movies. And I think it's probably his most quotable movie out of everything that he's done, in my personal opinion.
So. I don't think so.
Oh, yes. I could pretty much quote the script. I also grew up, and I have a criminal justice degree, so I'm also kind of biased with anything legal,
fancy.
even if it is a comedy. So I'm really big on that. I was always a big fan of Jim Carrey, and this one makes me laugh so much every single time that I watch it. So, yeah, for me, it is just an automatic in. So,
no, the movie's great, and I love the climax. I love the overarching story that he's trying to be a good father. He's one of those, it's the stereotypical, the dad who wants to be a good dad, but he's too caught up in his job, and he's too busy, and he can't do it. And I think it works really well here. And then when the, you know, kid wishes that his dad just couldn't tell a lie for one day, this whole thing is like one day. This movie is one day of this lawyer who lies for a living. It really is kind of a condemnation of lawyers, isn't it? Because it's like, oh, he's a lawyer. He has to lie to do his job. And when he can't lie, that's where everything spirals, as if you didn't know. It's called Liar Liar. Loretto, yes. weigh in. I'm getting a little drunk, Loretto. I need some help.
We're talking about Liar Liar. Yes. Sorry, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, guys, it's so hard for me to hide this. I hold this film in very high regard, and I think it's so interesting when you give us the backstory, the fact that this wasn't even a predestined Jim Carrey vehicle, when this film kind of highlights everything he does well, including dramatic beats with his son and with his ex-wife that is still kind of in love with him. And there's a lot of like really amazing points about this film. I feel like this film highlights damn near everything he does well, from the physical comedy to the rapid, the quick wit, the what are the like when he's in the elevator with the big breasted, the mama, like it's so like sporadic. Yeah, or like even like the bloopers when he's like a goose, like, and he's it's just he like crumples the paper, and you know, and like he's just so off like improv and just off natural timing and natural instinct. It's like this is him at the top of his powers, and honestly, I think it's an automatic in for me. I hold it in very high regard, and I don't want to like.
I also think that it's at one point in his career, I want to say that Jim Carrey believed that Liar Liar was his favorite movie that he's done. I don't know if that's still true, but at one point I believe he said that.
I would believe that. It's a good showcase, like we said, of all parts. The part that I remember loving the most as a kid that I would quote and that I laughed at so much was when he's in the courtroom and he has to get this case done, but he can't lie. So he's like, how can I do it? I have to get out of it. And he just starts beating himself up in the bathroom and just ramming his head in the toilet and beating his head against the wall. And a guy comes in and he's just like, what are you doing? And Jim Carrey's like, I'm beating my own ass. Do you mind? And then when they drag him back into the courtroom and he's so disheveled and beaten up, and the judge is just like, who did this to you? And he describes himself because he can't lie. And he's like, a skinny man, that's 6'1", disheveled. He's lost everything. He has nothing left to give.
200 pounds.
I thought that was like my favorite. A madman, Your Honor.
Yeah.
So
I vote pitiful rope.
Yeah, I vote Liar Liar in. I think we're all in agreement.
I agree. Yes.
Stick it in. Liar Liar's in. Okay, now when I said the next 3 movies, I was not counting Simon Birch because he in 1998 is just the narrator and shows up at the very end. Simon Birch.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, he wasn't in Simon Birch.
He's at the very end. So the boy, not the little person boy, the brother to the little person boy, or the friend to the little person boy. That's the proper term.
Is that politically correct?
That's what we have to call them, I think. Yes.
Little person?
Yeah, they don't want midget. You can't say midget.
I thought it was like vertically challenged, or I don't know. Is dwarf bad?
Little person, unless they changed it.
Yeah, I don't think they changed it.
Is it little person? No, I'm asking genuinely. Is it little person?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
So, I think so. So, he doesn't play Simon Birch, but Simon Birch's friend or brother, I forget. I think it was friend. He is that character grown up at the end. And he narrates the movie. So at the end, you see Jim Carrey sad on a bench because, little Simon Birch is dead. It's not really a Jim Carrey movie. That one, I'm not counting. That one's not going in. But when I said the next 3 movies, I was talking Truman Show and then Man on the Moon, 1999. So we'll talk Truman Show first. That came first. Peter Weir directed. This is a serious, respected filmmaker, not really something Jim Carrey had worked with. Peter Weir is the director of Picnic at Hanging Rock, The Last Wave, Witness, The Dead Poets Society. He is known for making great movies, serious poetic movies that people love, and The Truman Show fits into that. Does it have the comedy as well? Yes, but it is absolutely still a very good drama, very well done drama. Originally, Brian De Palma was set to direct this movie, and it was going to be more of a science fiction element to it. Now, this is the one that was delayed, so Jim Carrey took Liar Liar. I think this is widely regarded as one of Jim Carrey's best movies. I think this is a lot of people's Jim Carrey favorite movie.
Yeah.
So funny, so well done. To take a concept as silly and as on the nose as a reality show where we just stick a kid and we just follow him for life, that could be such a bad movie. And they make it such a good movie. I think it's an automatic in. What do you guys think?
I love The Truman Show. It was one of those movies that a lot of people really dug into those simulated life. Is life a real or is it a simulation type of thing? And I always thought, oh yeah, my life is a sitcom. My life is a TV show because of this movie, basically. And it's one of those movies that also feels incredibly original for what it's worth. And another example of a lot of not terribly quotable, but also really quotable at times. So good morning, good afternoon, good night,
good morning.
Stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. It's in, my top list, so I would understand putting it in.
I think it's an absolute in. And remember, shortly after this, we got Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey, kind of mimicking almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Similar. Not nearly as good. I don't think Ed TV's terrible, but it doesn't compare to this movie. Loretto, are you down for voting it in?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic film. And, it's not as cartoonishly off the wall as a lot of the other Jim Carrey vehicles are, but he does really well when it counts, especially with the dramatic moments. And I thought that he played really well, and I think it was a really good showcase of his skills.
And Ed Harris as the producer and creator of the show, fantastic. Holy shit, those two performances are so good. And the finale on the boat when he's trying to make it out, those two working off of each other, chef's kiss.
No, it's beautiful.
Perfect.
No, Ed Harris was in his bag, and just his whole it's like he obviously cares about Truman, but he cares about him in a way that's unnaturally off-putting, and it's like, it's like, dude, you're not God, and you're playing God right now. Like, you're playing God, and this isn't okay, and you gotta let him go. And he didn't want to let him go, and it was so beautiful. The bow. Good afternoon, good evening, and that final good afternoon, good evening, good night. I was just like, You want to pump your fist,
watching him slowly figure it out, looking at his wedding picture and his wife has her fingers crossed, stupid shit like that. And then when she's doing the commercial it's just like, hey, this cereal's so good. And he's like, who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to?
Talking to. It's so good.
I love that line.
All right, Dave, put it in. It's in.
Put it in.
It's in.
Put it in.
Next up, one, I have no idea how you guys feel on this one, but to me, this is an automatic in. Man on the Moon, 1999. Now, this one directed by Milos Forman, another very serious, respected filmmaker. He kind of did a back-to-back with these. This is the guy who brought us One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He brought us Amadeus. Fantastic filmmaker. This movie is a biography of Andy Kaufman, famous, controversial comedian. He played Latka on Taxi. I loved Taxi growing up. I used to watch that on Nick at Night, so I was a big fan. Jim Carrey said he had to audition for this movie, and he was kind of butthurt over that. It hurt his ego. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I'm getting very scratchy. But he gets the role, and I think he plays a perfect Andy Kaufman here. Danny DeVito plays the manager, who had starred with Kaufman on Taxi. Now, apparently Jim Carrey went full method acting for this role, insisted on being Charlie Kaufman at all times while filming, and tormented cast and crew members, because this thing about Charlie Kaufman, he was controversial because he was an ass, and everything he did was an act, and he took everything to an extreme, and he fucked with people at all times. That was his comedy. He was fucking with people at all times, and Carrey did this. So we're going to talk about Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, was a 2017 documentary, but I'm going to lump it in right here on his filmography because it's directly linked to Man on the Moon. Now, in this documentary, you see a lot of behind-the-scenes features that had been hidden because they were so controversial, where Jim Carrey insisted on being Charlie Kaufman even when they weren't filming, and would torment the other people on set of Man on the Moon, got into physical fights with people on the set of Man on the Moon because he was being Charlie Kaufman. And people hated Andy Kaufman. Who's Charlie Kaufman?
Charlie Kaufman is a really good screenwriter that's going to come into play later.
We're talking Charlie Kaufman.
Sunshine guy.
Yes, sorry. We're talking Charlie Kaufman in a little bit. That's why I keep saying this. I have that on my notes. Yes.
You're good, brother.
He was insistent. You could have corrected me sooner, Loretto.
You kept saying it, and I was like, he'll figure it out, but you kept saying
I didn't. I couldn't do it. So he was insistent. That's why I paused for a minute when I was like, wait, hold on. Let me look at my notes because I thought I was saying it wrong, but I couldn't. There it is. Biography of Andy Kaufman. Yes. So he was insistent on being Andy Kaufman and just caused fights and tormented people. And those behind the scenes footage were like not released for a long time because it was very it makes Jim Carrey look like an asshole. Like in this documentary, Jim and Andy, which was a Netflix documentary released in 2017, Jim Carrey looks like a complete dick. Like he's just causing fights with people, telling them he's Andy Kaufman. But whatever, I don't really care about all that. I think it works in the movie. I think Man on the Moon, great movie. I think it's in. Dave, you were already shaking your head when I said this, so give my voice a break. I'm losing my voice.
I don't know. When I watched it, I remember thinking that it was fine. He did a good job in it, and I understand the behind-the-scenes stuff. I think that the behind-the-scenes stuff is more interesting than the movie itself. It's a fine movie. It wasn't even something that I considered for the top 10 for me. For me, it would be not even in, but I would consider it maybe. But, I mean, it's just kind of a nothing movie for me.
Ouch. I don't like that. Loretto, Man on the Moon. What are your thoughts?
First I was afraid. I was petrified. So, shouts out Tony Clifton, which was Andy Kaufman's irresponsible asshole side character, lounge singer with the glasses and the mustache.
Jim Carrey was so good at playing that character. Jim Carrey played that character. That was my favorite part, watching that. This was a movie I rewatched for this episode. I hadn't seen it since it came out. I loved this movie upon rewatch.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm going to be honest. Well, Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, were either of you all that familiar with Andy Kaufman? Because I was not at all.
So
Yeah,
for
I
me,
was.
Go ahead. Yeah, for me, I wasn't, but I was kind of just enjoying the story, and I think that like I didn't resonate with the film back then, back in '99. I was like 12, but as I grew older and I got, I took film classes and I got really deep into film. This was something I've always wanted to do, and I currently write, about film. It's a film that I appreciate a lot more. I mean, Milos Forman is a really great director, and I thought that
Yes.
Jim Carrey not only put a great performance, but I thought the story it told was really well because Andy Kaufman was a weird dude, and it's
the weirdest, man.
Like it's not an easy movie to make about him, but this movie really like highlighted what he did well, and it was a very compelling story. I thought it was well done.
Now, speaking of the lounge character that they played,
Tony Clifton.
Tony Clifton. So while filming the movie, because he insisted on staying in character, they played a trick on Hugh. Hold on, God damn it! When I drink, I forget names, and you guys are letting me say the wrong names. Playboy, Hugh. Hefner.
Fuck.
Hugh Hefner.
Hefner.
I'm over here like Hugh Laurie. What? No.
Yeah, I was like, I was about to say Hugh Laurie too.
They played a prank on Hugh Hefner and the whole Playboy Mansion because they had invited Jim Carrey. And so Jim Carrey shows up as Tony Clifton. And they tell Hugh and all the people, hey, listen, it's not Jim Carrey. He's in character. He is Tony Clifton. He's playing the parts. It wasn't even Jim Carrey in all the makeup of Tony Clifton. It was Bob, who in the movie was played by Paul Giamatti, his actual friend, who's still alive, who would play the role, shows up and is everybody's taking pictures. Everybody's crowding around. Everybody's like, Jim Carrey, I love you, and trying to take pictures. And he's in the role. And then hours later, Jim Carrey shows up as himself, doing a very, very Andy Kaufman thing to prank you. You thought that was me. To prove it's not me, here I am. And they got so mad. And this is in the documentary, Jim and Andy, where you can see their actual reactions when they realize they've been fawning over and spending all their time with this nobody. And they get so mad, and security literally chases them all out and is demanding the videotapes, trying to rip the cameras out of their hands. And they run and get in the vans and take off. I gotta watch this documentary. Andy Kaufman. It's insane. And I think I'm not a huge like the whole method acting, whatever. I'm normally like, okay, yeah, whatever, just do the part. So I'm not supporting Jim Carrey's method acting and being a dick and starting fights with people on set. But whatever he did, I think it worked. I think that he was a great Andy Kaufman. I think he was a perfect choice to play the role. And I think the movie works all around. I would vote in. So let's hear from you guys. I know Dave's a no.
I think that there's a lot of movies to talk about yet, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in already, so we already have half the list.
Well, that's how I felt about Ace Ventura 2, Dave, and I got outvoted.
Yo!
No, you're talking about Cable Guy.
Hey, I'll take Man on the Moon over the first Ace Ventura, but that's just me, though.
Okay, put it in maybe, Dave, but I will fight for it at the end.
Fine.
Yes. You have my sword.
2000, we get Me, Myself, and Irene. It's the Farrelly brothers again. Renee Zellweger is great in this movie, but this is this is never a critique I've used on a comedy because, like, comedy can be mean. I'm all for that. But this is a very mean-spirited movie, man. This comedy is just fucking dirty and mean. And
it is.
Jokes are always at somebody's expense, and nobody is really likable in it. I laughed a few times, but I ended, because I rewatched this. I hadn't seen it since 2000. I rewatched it for this, and I was just like, yeah, I laughed a couple of times, some of them really hard. But overall, I'm just like, I don't think this movie's it. I didn't dig it. All right.
I'm okay with it. It's something that I've grown to appreciate more and laugh more. I think I used to hate it. But yeah, I would not put this in a top 10 or anything.
I think the best part is when that four-eyed kid is staring at him and he's like, "What you staring at, fucker?" Like that was the part that made me laugh the most.
Again, a mean joke, which is okay. I get it, but the whole movie was so mean that it was just like there's nothing to feel good or root for.
To be honest, Josh, I share the exact same sentiment. It's not in my top 10, and yeah, I don't care for mean-spirited Jim Carrey, for sure.
Like, okay, in Dumb and Dumber, he sells a decapitated bird to a kid. That's hilarious to me. Is that mean? Yes. But the whole movie isn't just putting everybody down, make fun of everybody. And
hey, Josh,
a lot of times you can do that in a comedy and
Josh,
still make it work. They didn't do it here.
Care of it.
All right, so that's out. Let's move on. Also 2000, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This movie directed by Ron Howard. This is among, I think, the best physical comedy we get from Jim Carrey. Adapted, of course, from the Dr. Seuss book. They would go on, not the same people, later to adapt The Cat in the Hat, which pretty much killed live-action Dr. Seuss movies. The Cat in the Hat was so bad, everybody reviled against it.
Yeah.
It's gone. I feel like maybe I'm on the outside. I don't like this movie.
You don't like it? I like the movie, and technically my wife would put it in her top 10. However, it's even if you love it, you only really watch it at a very specific time of the year, and I don't know. I would watch a Jim Carrey movie that's in my top 10 any time of the year, multiple times. So for me, it wouldn't be in my top 10.
I don't know. Loretto, what do you think? I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, no, so I'll be honest. I actually have a big soft spot for this film. I liked the backstory for the Grinch, and I thought that it's not even just Jim Carrey. I thought the cast was really well cast. I loved Molly Shannon and what's his name? Tambor. Jeffrey Tambor. Jeffrey Tambor is the mayor.
They do some things good. The look of the Grinch is great. Jim Carrey has a lot of really funny lines, like he always does. They slide in some adult jokes. There's a key party at one point. All the Who's are just going into a house and dropping their keys in a bowl, which is clearly just a swingers party. But as a whole, I don't know. The story just didn't click with me. I didn't really like it. I would vote a no. If you guys want to put it in maybe, we can put it maybe and fight it out.
I'll be honest, it was on the fringe of my top 10. It's towards the bottom of my list. But I mean, if you guys outvote me, I'm not going to fight you about it because this was one of those ones where I wasn't sure if I wanted it in my top 10, but it's in mine. It's in mine.
I say no.
I say no as well. So
that's fair.
All right. Here's one that I think Dave likes, but I don't. The Majestic, 2001. Directed by Frank Darabont, okay, who we talked about on the Stephen King episode. He did The Mist. He did Shawshank Redemption. This is Carrey trying to go dramatic. The movie was not super successful. It was not super well received. I watched it. I didn't like it. I don't even remember a ton about it because I didn't revisit it. It didn't click with me. I'm a no on this movie.
Yeah, I really like it. I've seen it many, many times. I mean, you're talking about he's a screenwriter. They think, he's what was the strike that happened back then? I forget.
I don't know. That's true.
And yeah, so he gets into an accident and he loses his memory, and then everybody in a small town thinks that he is somebody who he's not, and he's just like, fine, I guess I am who you say I am. And I really like this movie, and I relate with it in certain ways. And
lost your memory?
I don't know. Yeah, I lose my memory like every week. No, I would understand that you don't like it. I understand that much. It's in my top 10, but I could move it out if y'all don't like it. I don't know. What do you think, Loretto?
I'm a no.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Martin Landau's in it, right? Isn't that the character that he connects with? Because Martin Landau thinks like that's his son or something, right? Like
yeah.
Okay,
that's the reason why. Yeah.
Right. No. So look, I think I'll be honest. I think Martin Landau puts on a hell of a performance, even more so than Jim. And I think that everything that we wanted from a dramatic Jim, we got better in Truman Show and Man in the Moon and another film we haven't talked about yet. But out of the dramatic roles he's in, it's not one of my favorites. Because I just feel like
we have enough dramatic ones to pull from. That this isn't it.
Yeah, well, I think just this film as a whole didn't click with me, and it's nothing against Frank Darabont, who I think is great, and I think Jim Carrey is great, but I don't think he's great. I don't think he's great.
I
in this
personally,
movie.
I love
That's
the
just-
speech. I love the speech at the very end when he's in front of the court, the judges, and all of that, where he talks about the Constitution and everything like that. That's what I like. But I can. Audio's going crazy. All right.
I can kind of feel it. I think he was going for like a James Stewart,
Yes,
Capra-esque,
Yeah, he
Capra-esque
really was.
kind of a thing.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
That's what I felt, but it just didn't click with me.
I can
All right.
see that it's not going to go in, so
You're outvoted, Dave. It's out. Which brings us
All right.
to 2003, Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. Yes.
Tom Shadyac back again. We've talked. He's directed many of these that we've talked about. Steve Odenkirk
In.
writing again, the writer and director of Call of Nature. Morgan Freeman is God. Jennifer Aniston is the girlfriend. Steve Carell, so early in his career that he was credited as Stephen Carell. I mean, this movie is great. I think this movie is very good. Not nearly as great as half the movies we've talked about and put in the green. I don't think it touches them.
It's in for me. It's very high on my list. I love this movie.
It's amazing.
Can I say
I
something?
want to put it in the maybe pile.
Okay, that's fair with me, but can I say something?
Yes.
Look, the scene where Jim Carrey makes Steve Carell do the like the gibberish scene. My mom, my sister, and myself were in the theaters freaking damn near crying. Like, we could not stop laughing. You know when you get those laugh attacks where you just can't stop laughing? Like, that was
Jim
it for me.
Carrey crawling out of a rhino's asshole did that to me.
So there you go.
Yeah.
No, that's one for me too. But that
yeah.
and then like Steve Carell does the he doesn't know what's going on. like that killed me. It still kills me. And look, it
It's
holds
great.
a special place in my heart. However, Bruce Almighty's not in my top 10. So I mean, like if you guys want to do the maybe or if it's in, hey, it's you guys.
No, I
but
think
you know,
this is a good maybe.
I'll put it in.
it is a good maybe. But I'm just telling you guys, like, it's not in my top 10. But that moment holds a special place in my heart. That's just all I wanted to say. Like,
No, I think it's great. And what's funny is, we get a terrible sequel of Evan Almighty, starring Steve Carell, who is great. Steve Carell is great. And the concept,
It's not the same character.
The idea I thought was so funny. Steve Carell, God comes to Steve Carell and tells them to build an ark. That sounds funny. It wasn't. That was a bad movie. Now, the original pitch for a sequel was going to be Brucifer, where Bruce takes on the powers of Satan. And Jim Carrey thought it was too dark. He didn't want to go there. He bowed out, and we ended up with Evan Almighty because
that's kind of like the movies of Oh God, the really old comedies where had the God in there, and then the same guy played the devil, so you'd have to have Morgan Freeman play the devil too.
one last thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing I took from this film, who hasn't had that moment where you see your dog about to pee, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then you like pick up your dog, and he's like I feel like that's a very relatable dog moment.
Oh, very
Shouts
much.
out to that too.
with anything, puking, pooping, peeing, any
You're
of
just
the
like oh, wait, no, and then they
Now.
just keep fucking going, and you're like, ah, shit.
On to what I think is the most in of all the movies we will talk about. The one that is an instant in. 2004, we get Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Directed by Michael Gondry,
Michelle.
who directed not a lot of great movies like this. A lot of weird, kind of quirky movies. He did The Green Hornet with Seth Rogen, which is kind of hated and reviled, but I watched it once and I liked
fine.
it.
I thought it was fine.
Be Kind Rewind with Jack Black, another kind of weird, fun one. Written by Charlie Kaufman, not Andy Kaufman, the name I kept saying, who did Being John Malkovich. He wrote Adaptation. The cast in this movie, fantastic. Kate Winslet, Mark Ruffalo, Kirsten Dunst, Tom Wilkinson, David Cross. This is such a good cast, and this is, I'm just going to put it out there, my favorite Jim Carrey movie. This is the dramatic turn. His performance in this movie is legit, and I hate when people say he should have won an Oscar for it, because it's like, okay, there's a lot of things that come into that. There's a lot of politics in the whole awards thing, and who was he up against? This was an Oscar-worthy performance from Jim Carrey. This is his best performance. I cry at this movie every time I watch this movie. This is it. This is my favorite Jim Carrey.
I agree. This is my favorite movie of Jim Carrey's as well. It's the only movie that I think that I scored a perfect 100% to. It's a beautiful movie. And when you're talking about speaking to romance alone, the whole idea of, love will find a way, and you can erase your mind as much as you want, and you're still going to find each other. I love this movie. Everything that it has going for it, its visuals, the performances, its ideas, its concepts. Obviously, Charlie Kaufman is a brilliant screenwriter when it comes down to just the human mind, really. It sells to me. So for me, it's automatic in, obviously. So,
Loretto?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So this is actually a Valentine's Day movie. It takes place on Valentine's Day. What I like about it is it's not your traditional romance of feel good. This is it explores the darkest parts of a relationship, the hardships, because the whole plot of the movie is Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey have broken up, and they're trying to erase memory from each other to get rid of the breakup. And Jim Carrey has signed up for this procedure where they're erasing all the memories of her from him, and he realizes midway through he doesn't want to lose the memory of her. Because even though it ended badly, and even though he's heartbroken, he wants to hold on to the good that he had, which is, I think, such a great concept, and is literally him in his own brain trying to stop the process from happening. And we see the relationship go from like the worst, where they're deleting and they're working backwards, to when it was good. And you see how they once were great and why he's fighting to hold on to it. This movie's an automatic in. It's in.
Can I also say one thing about it too? I think what's impressive is his performance stands out among a stellar cast that includes Tom Wilkinson, Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, and of course Kate Winslet. And they're all so good, but his performance stands out, and I think that's impressive. I think it's very impressive.
When the finale of the movie is like the beginning of their relationship, because it works backwards, where you see them at their worst and it's getting deleted and it's going backwards. And when you get to the point where Jim Carrey is in his own brain, at the point where he meets her and he's in love and he's his happiest, and it's all being deleted around him and kind of destroyed, and he's fighting so hard to hold on to it, that point always makes me cry. I'm always all in at that point.
Hey, the okay gets me, because she's good. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
get
but
upset.
Then
I'm gonna push you away, and he's like, okay,
yeah.
like
yeah, they meet up again at they just re-meet each other, and it's like the same thing all over again, because that's just like fate, basically. It's
right. They can't dodge fate, but they also are meant to share those beautiful moments together, and I think that's beautiful.
Now, this brings us to a movie that, Loretto, you just watched right before recording. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events in 2004, based on a book series titled A Series of Unfortunate Events, in which Jim Carrey plays a sort of weird, villainous stage actor who uses disguises called Count Olaf. And I love this movie. And I think it is a great depiction of Carrey doing something weird, which is what he's great at. I think this movie should go into the maybe. I think it's definitely worth a discussion.
I'm okay with the maybe. It's not in my top 10, but I'm okay with moving things around and putting it in too. So for me, it's a maybe.
But Loretto, since you just watched it today, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so we're talking about Brad Silberling, who for me, up until that point, like he did Casper, which I thought was fantastic. And I thought visually it's a very interesting movie. It's very Burton-esque with a splash of Wes Anderson. It's got some very quirky, macabre vibes that I love. Like, I love the original Addams Family, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld. But, like, it's just so weird because I think Carrey's funny in it, but he's very funny. It's such a dark story, and I almost feel like he gets overshadowed by, like, Meryl Streep and Billy Connolly, and, like, he's funny, but it's like, I just don't feel like it's a Jim Carrey movie. I feel like the movie and the story as itself is really fun and really interesting, and we go on the adventures. To be honest, I cared more about the kids, and maybe that's the point. Where
I think it is.
Like Count Olaf is actually absent for like large gaps of this film, which is fine by me because I was more invested in the kid's story. But I just feel like he wasn't vital enough to the story where I felt like it was a Jim Carrey picture, even though he's like the lead.
Right.
But it's not a bad performance. I thought he was funny. The ending kind of reminded me of Beetlejuice a little bit, but I mean, like, I don't know. I didn't read the books, so.
I didn't read them either, but I saw this movie in theaters, and I remember really liking it. I owned it on DVD, and I watched it multiple times.
Nice.
I think it's a great movie, but I do get your point of it's not a Jim Carrey focused movie. Let's just stick it in maybe, and then if it don't make it, don't make it. You know what a movie that's not going into the maybe is? 2007's The Number 23. Directed by, once again, Joel Schumacher, who brought us Batman Forever. And this movie's fucking terrible, and I don't have a lot to say about it. It is just a bad movie. Terrible.
I didn't even know that was Schumacher.
It's a stupid movie.
I didn't know it was Schumacher, and honestly, even the trailer at the time, I was just like, this isn't it for me. And I'll be honest, I actually haven't seen it, and because of your guys' reactions, I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah. Now, I had not seen this movie. I watched it for this episode. Mistake. This is just a bad movie.
See, no, I didn't want to waste my time because you reacted so badly. I was like, maybe I won't. Maybe, I didn't like the trailer back then, and I'm probably not into it now.
It is Jim Carrey is a dog catcher who becomes obsessed after reading a book that he thinks the universe is trying to tell him things around the number 23. Everything means the number 23, and he thinks he's tracking a killer. Spoiler alert, it was like him. He wrote this book, and he forgot about it, and his wife knew about it, and she was trying to trick him. It's the stupidest fucking twist. It's the most nonsense movie. It's just math. It's math, as Dave kept saying. It's just math. That's how math works.
That's how math works. Yeah.
So, 2008. We're gonna speed it up a little bit because there's some that aren't super important. Horton Hears a Who. 2008. Another Dr. Seuss. Not a live action. They killed that with Cat in the Hat. 20th Century Fox animation returns with Steve Carell. It's not going in. It's a good movie, but it's not a Jim Carrey identifying. It's centerpiece.
Yeah.
Well, really quick, I just want to say I love this movie, and secondly, I just wish that because of like his character, I kind of wish he did more voiceover work. Like, you look back at like Robin Williams as the genie, which was like groundbreaking at the time, or you look back at like Billy Crystal as like Mike Wazowski. Like, there's so many great voice work, and I kind of wish Jim Carrey dipped his toes a little more into that because he's got a great voice and he could do this really manic energy for an animated film, and I wish he did it more.
No, I agree with you. But but it's not going in. He's good. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I think we wind up at a 1 maybe and then like 4 no's. So let's blow through these pretty quick. Yes Man. I think Yes Man is a maybe. 2008, directed by Peyton Reed, who did Bring It On. Zooey Deschanel opposite him as a love interest. Zero chemistry. They did not work as a couple. Not even the tiniest bit. I didn't buy that. They had no chemistry.
It had some funny moments, though.
It does.
Yes.
And you know what? This was one of the movies that I said I had filled in some blank spots. I'd never seen this movie prior to this.
I own it on Blu-ray somewhere. Yeah.
So yeah, I watched Yes Man just for this, and I was like, that was good.
That was good. If you do not want to see me again, I would understand.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
No, that was a good scene. He talks Luis Guzman off the ledge by singing Third Eye Blind. Good scene. I like.
And like he had just learned that song before saying yes. I don't know. I thought that was set up really well. Like,
so okay, Dave put yes man and maybe.
Got it.
Now, all these that I'm saying are no's doesn't mean because I think they're bad. Some of them are bad, some of them aren't, but they're just still no's. I Love You, Philip Morris, 2008. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's based on the real life story of a 1980s and 90s imposter and prison escapee. This movie had trouble getting produced because there were some explicit gay scenes that studios were afraid of. Now, partially this was filmed in the Louisiana State Penitentiary, and apparently the warden refused to allow any gay inmate scenes to be filmed there, so they filmed them elsewhere. This movie seemed like it was Jim Carrey trying to break out of a mold, trying to do something a little daring. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think if you say Jim Carrey, nobody thinks of I Love You, Philip Morris. It's out. Next up, 2009, same year, A Christmas Carol, directed by Robert Zemeckis, who I love, but this is when he was going through his phase of trying to do realistic animation that was just not working. The Polar Express, Beowulf.
Right.
I don't need to see this uncanny valley bullshit. And you know what? I'll say it. I'm sick of A Christmas Carol. I'm fucking over. It's like Dracula. I have seen 200 versions of it. Stop fucking doing it. I'm done. If I want to watch A Christmas Carol, I will watch one of the old school originals or the Muppets. Not your uncanny valley fucking...
Michael Caine, baby. Sir Michael Caine.
I'm done. I love Robert Zemeckis. I am out on this movie. I just don't like A Christmas Carol. I've seen it too much. It's like Dracula. I don't want to see it anymore. Stop. Do something else.
Real quick, I like Jim Carrey's portrayal of Ebenezer Scrooge. However, Zemeckis was in his weird bag at the time. Like, he just wanted to show off. And there's like these random action sequences where I'm just like, what the fuck are we watching? Like, these like drawn out, really elaborate sequences. And I'm like, okay, you're showing off your mocap and your 3D CGI, but like, you're not really adding the story here, guy. Like,
exactly. It's like fucking Tom Hanks in the Polar Express. Get that shit out of my face. I don't want to see that. All right.
My kids love it.
Too bad. 2011, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Also out. Based on the 1938 children's book. That's a long time ago. 1938. I didn't realize that. It's based on a book from 1938. Directed by Mark Waters, who did Mean Girls and Bad Santa 2. Also did some bad movies like He's All That and Mother of the Bride. But Clark Gregg, the dude from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Coulson from Avengers, plays
I was about to say,
guy.
Put some respect on Phil Coulson's name real quick.
Phil Coulson plays a zoo guy, and they make him out to be the villain because he's like, you can't keep penguins in an apartment. And I'm just like, this guy's a fucking hero. You can't keep penguins in an apartment. That's not good for them.
Hey, I like Mr. Popper's Penguins, for what it's worth. It's not in my top 10.
It's not worth anything because that's wrong. Okay. And Mr. Popper commits so many felonies, him and his family. They commit so many felonies in the movie. Why is the zoo guy who's like, you can't keep penguins in an apartment, the villain? He straight up says they need a proper environment. That's correct. That's anti-animal cruelty. I'm on his side. Fuck you, Mr. Popper, trying to keep penguins in your apartment. I don't like it. Next up, another note. Incredible Burt Wonderstone. He's not the star. This is a Steve Carell magician movie. He has a supporting part as a street magician. It's out. This one's another no, but it's interesting. Kick-Ass 2. Now, Kick-Ass 1 is great. Kick-Ass 2 is bad. But it's interesting is that Jim Carrey plays Colonel Stars and Stripes. He plays a hitman who's a born-again Christian vigilante. This is a very violent movie. He bashes like a dude's head in with a bat. After the movie is filmed and done, Jim Carrey comes out and speaks out against it. And is like, this movie's bad. Don't go see it. And then comes out to say, He'd filmed it months before Sandy Hook happened, and that changed his views on violence, and he was now regretting his decision and could not support the movie, which caused a lot of turmoil. Doesn't matter, it was a bad movie anyways. It's out. Anchorman 2, he has a cameo as a member of the Canadian news team. Dumb and Dumber 2, one of the worst fucking sequels to a great comedy I've ever seen. It's out.
It was kind of pointless. It's not as bad. I don't think it's as bad as what was the Dumb and Dumber when Harry met whatever.
Dumb and Dumber.
No, obviously that's not a Jim Carrey movie, but still. You think so? I think that it was playing it safe for the most part. It wasn't doing anything new.
So, after that 2016, The Bad Batch, not a Jim Carrey movie. He's barely in it. This is a Jason Momoa post-apocalyptic movie. Jim Carrey's in it a tiny bit, and he has no lines. He plays like a homeless post-apocalyptic dude. But you know what? Also a very violent movie, if you were so against Kick-Ass 2 too. Next up, 2016, Dark Crimes. This movie has
Your favorite.
0% on Rotten Tomatoes, based on an article in the New Yorker about a killer who wrote a fictional novel about a murder he committed. It's about sex and snuff films, and it's still somehow super dull. It is absolutely not in. Which brings us to the last, the Sonic movies. We can clump them all into one. The Sonic movies, Sonic the Hedgehog, most famous for the ugly Sonic. I like that Jim Carrey slowly over the 3 movies evolves into the Dr. Robotnik from the games. He becomes fat.
Yeah.
He becomes, fun. We're not going to pick more than one movie from here if we do. So I think if we're considering Sonic, we put in like Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 or whichever one to represent them all. That's up to you guys. You guys want a Sonic 2 as a maybe, and then we go to the debate?
Like 2, and I just want to say I think him being Robotnik was kind of a return to form of that kind of Carrey that we grew up on, and he was just off the walls. You could tell he was improv-ing. You could tell he was just riffing on certain scenes, and it's a lot of fun. It makes those movies a lot better than they have any right to be, and especially the second one, which I thought was unnecessary, but because of the nature of the franchise, of course they're going to have a sequel. I thought it was a lot better than it had any right to be. So
let's do this, Dave, because we're running long now. Put Sonic 2 in the maybes, and let's go over what we have in and what we have maybes, and then we have to do our top 10 and we're done.
So, in The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Cable Guy, Liar Liar, Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What we have in maybes are both Ace Venturas, Man on the Moon, Bruce Almighty, Lemony Snicket, Yes Man, and Sonic 2.
All right. Do you guys want to start at the 10 or the 1?
I was gonna say, let's start from 1, man. Let's go.
I would say start from 1. I feel like it's easier to go from your favorite down.
You're right. Okay, let's start with 1.
Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine. Yep. Yeah.
So hold on, real quick. And look, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. This is my hot take that I told Dave about while you stepped away, Josh. I think Eternal Sunshine is a better film. So don't hear what I'm not saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I think Eternal Sunshine is a beautiful film. It's miles better than what I'm about to say. But I think, me personally, I think in terms of what Jim Carrey is and what this film means to me, I have a thing with father-son things. Maybe it's because I'm a dad and I have a son. I don't know. But Liar Liar is my number 1 Jim Carrey film, and I just think
that's my number 2.
It is the perfect encapsulation of everything he does well. It's got dramatic moments, and he's just so damn good in it. It's my favorite Jim Carrey film. That's my favorite.
Based on this would not be my number 3. Let me tell you, I think Liar Liar should be number 3.
Okay.
Now, we got to debate this and agree, because my top 3 were Eternal Sunshine, The Truman Show, and The Mask. But I could see going Eternal Sunshine, Truman Show, and Liar Liar. You guys could outvote me on this if you want Liar Liar number 2.
Well, you know what's funny? I'm Liar Liar, Eternal, Truman, but yeah.
And my top 3 is Eternal Sunshine, Liar Liar, Truman Show.
Okay. So what's the order we want to go? I think since me and Dave are both Eternal first, Eternal's going first.
No, and that's fair. And like I said, I think it's a better film. I think it's a better film, and Jim Carrey's amazing in it.
Do we put Truman Show or Liar Liar a second? That's where we debate. I would vote Truman Show and then Liar Liar.
And I would vote Liar Liar and then Truman Show.
And I guess you would as well.
Oh, I hate to break that tie, but I will agree with Dave.
Okay.
Like Liar Liar's my number one, so yeah, that's how I would.
All right.
That's how I would go.
So Dave, lock us in.
Yes.
Eternal 1, Liar Liar 2, Truman Show 3.
Lock it in.
So then I would fight for The Mask at 4, because The Mask, I think, is some of the best comedic mixed with drama.
Okay, so my number 4 was one of our maybes, which is Bruce Almighty, and then The Mask.
Oh shit! I'm gonna get voted out of this one. So I love The Mask. I love The Mask. I have the VHS, like I said, and I adore it. But I actually hold Dumb and Dumber in a higher regard because of what I was talking about earlier. I just feel like Dumb and Dumber is more iconic and more quotable than Mask and Ace Ventura. But like Dumb and Dumber is my 4. So
the 3 put up are Dumb and Dumber, Bruce or Dave. What did you say?
I said Bruce Almighty.
Okay, that's why I called you Bruce, because I remembered I connected you with Bruce.
Yeah.
And The Mask. So, okay, so these should probably be the next 3. So let's decide the order of these. 4, 5, and 6. If I had to choose between these, I would put, if we're going 4, 5, and 6, my vote would be Bruce Almighty at 6. Because I think Dumb and Dumber and The Mask are both better and more iconic movies of Jim Carrey.
Okay, so 6. But okay, so what would be for The Mask?
Well, that's we got to fight it out. We got to agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, man, killer boots, man.
Dave, what would you pick, The Mask or Dumb and Dumber for the 4?
Personally, I would probably say Dumb and Dumber.
One more time. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah,
that's right.
So put Dumb and Dumber at 4, The Mask at 5, Bruce at 6.
That
are
sounds
we
good.
out of all of our for sure ends, or are there still some for sure ends?
It's just Cable Guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Cable Guy was top 5 for me. So
yeah, I got that.
Listen, okay, and so we're now we have 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 4 more slots.
Yes.
Is
so
there
do we
any
just
way we can slot Cable Guy in over Bruce Almighty? Is there any way?
Huh? No.
This sounds like just personally. So, I just feel like
what
Cable
if
Guy's
we
a
just
stronger
slot?
film.
What if we slot Cable Guy in at 7?
All right, let's
That's
put
fine.
that there.
That's fine.
Now we have 3 maybes to pick from. I feel like one of the Ace Venturas, probably 2, because I think that's what we all prefer.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
We'll be in.
Absolutely.
Read us our maybes, Dave.
Okay, so if it's gonna be Ace Ventura 1, I'm gonna get rid of Ace Ventura 1 or whatever. Get rid of Ace Ventura 1, and we have Ace Ventura 2, Man on the Moon, Lemony Snicket, Yes Man, and Sonic 2.
Okay. I'm okay not including Lemony Snicket. Delete that.
That's fair.
Okay.
I think Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon, I feel like needs to be in there.
It's one of his best performances. I think as a Jim Carrey.
I think that should be the 8. I think that should be number 8.
I agree.
Let's go there. So what are the other maybes? We have Ace Ventura 2.
It's like Yes Man versus Sonic, I think, for the last spot.
Yeah.
Because I think Ace Ventura is in at 9, right?
Okay, let's put Ace Ventura 2 in at 9.
Ace Ventura 2 at 9, which leaves one more spot.
It's either Yes Man or Sonic.
Yep. I would argue Yes Man.
I personally probably like Yes Man better.
So do I.
The Sonic franchise is huge, and especially to this newer generation, is Jim Carrey. Plus, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the highest grossing Jim Carrey movie of all time, I believe.
Really?
I believe.
Jesus.
I believe it. I think that Yes Man is a much lesser known film of his roster.
So, even though my heart would say yes, man, I feel like the true choice would be to give a Sonic representation. It's the only franchise that I think, because we just went through them all, that he's done 3 movies. So I feel like it's kind of hard to not include one of them in here.
I think, Josh, you mentioned, like, I think he had zero chemistry with Zooey Deschanel, who was the it girl at the time. And then minus the Third Eye Blind scene and maybe the Red Bull scene, which I love. There's not many more memorable moments for me in Yes Man compared to his other films, and I think that,
right.
Yeah, I have no problem with putting Sonic in.
All right, so let's lock it in. So Dave,
right.
Go over from 10 down to 1, the ranking, and then we will close out and get out of this bad boy.
Number 10 is Sonic 2,
so.
otherwise known as Dr. Robotnik. Number 9, Ace Ventura 2. Number 8, Man on the Moon. Number 7, Cable Guy. Number 6, Bruce Almighty. And the top 5, number 5 is The Mask. 4 is Dumb and Dumber. 3, Truman Show. 2, Liar Liar. And number 1, the best Jim Carrey movie of all time, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's a good movie.
Hey, that's agreeable for me. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my top 10, and it wouldn't be Dave's top 10, it wouldn't be your top 10, but it's understandable and comparable, I think. I can understand where we got where we were between 3 different, opinions. That being said, this concludes this bonus special episode of The Chaser, where we went through the entire filmography of Jim Carrey, who is now in his 60s, which shocks me to my core, and I don't like it. I got a little drunk on this episode, even though it wasn't even a drinking episode. But if you are watching us on video, you can also listen to us on audio anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're listening to us, we are also on video. Check us out on YouTube. And we will be back next week with an episode of The Binge. We'll catch you on that flippity flop.